Even for me, I love the NBA game, but then I turn on to a game, right? And then the stars are not playing because of Lowe's management.
Yeah.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Yeah, I'm 10, 12 years in, I got 4 MVPs and 4 championships, like, but do I still want to do this shit? You know what I'm saying?
You know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
Right?
Yeah. And then I want to come back. Or some people say, I'm going to go 22 straight.
Shaquille O'Neal just ignited the entire NBA world. And now LeBron James and Kevin Durant are stuck right in the middle of the firestorm. Shaq came out swinging hard against load management, calling out today's stars for sitting out games despite earning tens of millions of dollars. He didn't just stir up controversy, launched a full-on battle, and the timing couldn't be more explosive. Durant and LeBron had just finished laughing at Michael Jordan's legacy on their podcast, brushing aside everything the older generation built. Now Shaq is firing back, and he's not pulling any punches. Here's the moment that set the whole league buzzing. When Shaq was asked about load management, he didn't hold back for even a second.
Go ahead.
So you want me to pay you $30 million to play 30 games? Hell no.
Right.
No. 80 games is fine, because I did.
He didn't stop there, either.
Jerry West did it, Kareem did it, Magic did it, Bird did it, Bernard King, like all the great legends before us did it.
Think about that for a second. Shaq is pointing out something nobody wants to admit. The legends who built this league, the ones who made the NBA what it is today, played every single night. They didn't have modern medical tech. They didn't have elite training staffs, fancy recovery centers, or sports science teams. And they earned a fraction of what today's stars make, yet somehow, they showed up. Every single night or so. When someone asked Shaq if he thinks the NBA season has too many games, his answer was simple and brutally honest: nope. If we had to do it, they have to do it. No sympathy. No excuses. Just straight facts. The old generation played through injuries, fatigue, and everything else the league threw at them, and they didn't complain. But of course, the modern NBA wasn't going to stay quiet. Draymond Green clapped back immediately, calling the criticism outdated and out of touch with today's game. Austin Rivers took it even further. When asked if he supports the 65-game rule, the same rule Charles Barkley once said should be raised to 70, Rivers didn't hesitate to give his take.
Well, I think it's actually quite bullshit myself is to incorporate something at this point.
That's the excuse modern players keep falling back on. They say the old legends destroyed their bodies, so why should they do the same? It's as if playing basketball while making millions of dollars is some kind of unbearable sacrifice, one that justifies sitting out half the season in the name of health. Even Nikola Jokic chimed in, saying he believes forcing players to play is wrong.
It's ridiculous. I love Charles Barkley. He's wrong.
Yeah. Well, so the older guys, they played all the games.
That's cool, man. And now they walk around and their fucking knees touch.
He basically admitted he doesn't want to be on the court if he doesn't feel like it. And that mentality is exactly what Shaq is going after. And honestly, he has a point. Modern players are complaining about workload while making more money than any generation before them. The average NBA salary is over $10 million. Max contracts are nearing $60 million a year, and guys are still sitting out because they played 3 nights ago and they're tired. But here's where things get really interesting. Right around the same time Shaq was blasting load management, Kevin Durant and LeBron James were on LeBron's Mind the Game podcast, and they decided to throw shade at Michael Jordan. Not directly, of course. They're way too calculated for that. But the message was impossible to miss. Durant started talking about longevity, about how tough it is to stay at the top year after year.
I mean, definitely forcing players to play. We saw what happened with the drought. But it's something that probably league wants to, I don't know.
LeBron instantly burst into laughter, and the camera caught every second of it. They both knew exactly what they were doing, making Jordan's retirement sound like he walked away from the game, while LeBron's longevity somehow made him the tougher, more dedicated player. Then LeBron chimed in with a casual, dismissive line about the sport itself, just basketball.
Yeah, I'm 10, 12 years in, I got 4 MVPs and 4 championships, like, but do I still want to do this shit? You know what I'm saying?
You know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
Right?
Yeah. And then I want to come back. Or some people say, I'm going to go 22 straight.
That's how LeBron described the very game that made him a billionaire, the game that gave him everything. Michael Jordan never spoke about basketball that way. When people asked Jordan about his mentality, he said,
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
That's the difference right there. Jordan never saw basketball as just a job or just a game, it was everything to him. And his teammates witnessed that mentality up close. One of MJ's teammates once told a story from Jordan's second year in the league.
No, because when I play hard all the time. You know, there's no turn it on here, turn it off here. It's just 110% at all.
Jordan himself explained that mentality early in his career.
Coming to practice, he's on one leg. Like he was hurt the second year, he was on one leg the whole year and played 82 games. Like, and so he practiced every day and he played every game on one leg. And so you're like, man, MJ, why don't you just sit out? How can I be the leader of the team and sit out and y'all going through all the credit? I gotta beat it.
But Durant and LeBron weren't done taking shots at Jordan's era. LeBron kept going on the podcast, this time bringing up the triangle offense. And when he was asked why it isn't used anymore,
I twist my ankle, and I had a teammate, David Greenwood. He says, you know, you twist your ankle, young fella, come over and sit with me. You know, this is you need to. I said, no, man, I'm trying to make a name for myself. There's no way I can sit. You know, I need to get out there and show what I'm capable of. I want to play. I want to win. I want to make an impact.
LeBron's answer made it clear he was basically saying today's era is more advanced, more complex, and more difficult than anything Jordan ever had to face. And then he pushed it even further, questioning why ring culture matters so much in basketball.
To try to run the triangle offense right now, it'd be very challenging, just because how the game is played and also how defense is covering.
This is LeBron James, the same guy who built super teams in Miami and brought stars to Cleveland and LA, now suddenly acting like championships don't matter. And why? Because he knows he's never catching Jordan's 6 rings. So he's trying to shift the conversation toward longevity and stats instead. Meanwhile, Larry Bird once told a story that perfectly captures the mindset of the old generation.
Yeah, it's funny, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's discussed so much in our sport and why it's the A-all, B-all of everything.
Bird understood something Durant and LeBron don't. Basketball isn't about saving your energy for year 20, it's about emptying the tank every single night. It's about diving on the floor for loose balls, playing defense until you can't breathe, and doing whatever it takes to win. That's why Bird only played 13 seasons. That's why Jordan only played 13 full seasons. They pushed their bodies to the limit because winning meant more to them than longevity. Meanwhile, LeBron has already admitted his thinking about load management himself. When he was asked if playing all 82 games is still one of his goals, he said,
Garth Gilmore told me one time, he played for Chicago, he said, if you expect to play a long time in this league, you better quit mopping up the floor. And I thought, well, he's crazy, because that's what basketball is all about.
He's already laying down the excuses, already preparing fans for the games he's planning to sit out this season. Jordan, on the other hand, had a completely different philosophy.
Maybe that's a goal, but we'll see.
That's what separates Jordan from everyone else. He understood that being an NBA player is a privilege. You're getting paid millions to play a game, the least you can do is show up and give everything you've got every single night. Jordan took that responsibility seriously.
Basketball 2.5 hours a day, 3 hours a day, right? That's your job. That's what you get paid to do as an NBA player. What are you doing the other 21 hours? I mean, to me, that's when you should be preparing for your next day at work.
When he was asked directly about load management, Jordan's answer couldn't have been more definitive.
Fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy, way up on top, who probably worked his ass off to get a ticket.
You really cared about the guy who sat in the top deck, right?
Yeah, because I know he's probably yelling at me, and I want to shut him up. So if the guys are coming to watch me play, I don't want to miss that opportunity. Now, physically, if I can't do it, then I can't do it. But physically, if I can do it, and I just don't feel like doing it, that's a whole different lens.
Even Tracy McGrady, who played in a much more modern era, understood this.
Well, it shouldn't be needed, first and foremost. You know, I never wanted to miss a game because it was an opportunity to prove. The fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy.
McGrady understood something today's stars seem to forget. If he sat out against legends, he'd be disrespecting the game and the competition. But here's the problem with Durant's little joke about Jordan going to play baseball. It completely ignores the real reason Jordan retired in 1993, and that reason changes everything. Jordan didn't just wake up one day and decide he was bored with basketball. That summer, his father was murdered during a robbery. James Jordan, the man who pushed Michael, guided him, and inspired him, was gone. And at the absolute peak of his career, Michael walked away from basketball to honor his father's memory and pursue the dream they shared, playing professional baseball. So when Durant casually smirks and says, "Some people play baseball," he's not just being careless, he's being disrespectful. He's reducing one of the most painful moments of Jordan's life to a throwaway punchline. And LeBron, sitting there laughing along, co-signs it. Now let's talk about when Jordan actually retired. Was it after getting bounced in the first round? After getting embarrassed in the finals? No, Jordan retired after winning 3 straight championships. He reached the mountaintop of the sport and did something Magic Johnson never did, Larry Bird never did, and Isaiah Thomas never did: a three-peat. And he did it while dealing with the grief of losing his father. Now here's where it gets interesting. Who's making these comments? Kevin Durant, a player critics often call one of the biggest quitters in NBA history. In 2016, after losing to Golden State, Durant joined the very team that beat him, a 73-win juggernaut featuring Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. Many fans still consider that move the most controversial decision in league history, and it didn't stop there. After leaving the Warriors, Durant clashed with the situation in Brooklyn, then requested a trade and headed to Phoenix. Fairly or unfairly, those moves shaped the narrative around him. And then there's LeBron. When things got tough in Cleveland the first time, he left for Miami. When Miami began declining in 2014, he went back to Cleveland. And when that run ended, he headed to Los Angeles. Right or wrong, fans have always pointed out that whenever adversity hit, LeBron found a new destination.
Couldn't believe that an NBA player could make $1 million. And now these guys are so lucky and blessed, and they can't play basketball 3 or 4 days a week. And I know they hide behind all the analytical bullshit from their agents and people like that. What they're really trying to do is extend their career. The way the money's been and going, depending on who you are, you're going to be able to make another $50, $70, $100 million and probably more going forward if you can extend your career 2 or 3 years.
Michael Jordan never chased longevity, he chased perfection. Every single season, his mindset was simple: push himself to the limit, elevate his team, win championships, and dominate on both ends of the floor. Jordan played 15 total years, but really only 13 full seasons. And in that short window, he accomplished. That's not just greatness, that's as close to perfection as basketball gets. Now look at Durant and LeBron combined. They've played 39 seasons, nearly 3 times longer than Jordan's peak. And together, they've earned almost 40 years of basketball, and still less than what Jordan achieved in basically a decade. Twice the time, half the results. So yes, Shaquille O'Neal just put LeBron James and Kevin Durant on blast. Not just by calling out load management, but by reminding everyone what real legends looked like. Shaq, Jordan, Bird, Magic. They didn't make excuses, they didn't sit out just because. They didn't mock the generation before them, they honored the game, they respected the fans, and they showed up every single night. If you think Shaq is right about load management, smash that like button. If you believe today's players need to respect the game again, drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns exposing what's really going on in basketball, make sure you subscribe, because this conversation is far from over.